الايدز والهربز ألفاظ تعني الموت في بلاد كثيرة، وانتشرت كالنار في الهشيم في المجتمعات الغربية، حيث ينتشر الشذوذ الجنسي والعلاقات غير المشروعة. ويوضح الدكتور بيرسو في حديثه عن التعاليم الإسلامية الخاصة بالعلاقة الجنسية الآثار الرهيبة التي تنتج عن هذه الأمراض وعن معدلات انتشارها المتزايدة، ثم يوجه حديثه إلى العالم أجمع، وكأنه يصرخ فيه أن أفق وانتبه واحذر مما أنت فيه من فساد وانحلال وفسق. ويستشهد الدكتور بيرسو بكلام رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: فما أجدر الناس باتباع منهج الله الذي يقيهم من هذه الويلات والنكبات.
Sexual promiscuity, another area I like to briefly touch on, has long been associated with several venereal infections, in particular syphilis and gonorrhea. The risk of sexually acquired infections increases significantly with exposure to multiple sexual partners. Of great concern is the alarming increase in the incidence of diagnosed genital herpes because of sexual permissiveness. The virus, could I have the next slide, is transmitted during sexual intercourse and leads, next slide please, and leads to itching. Could I have the next slide please? Yes, and leads to itching and later painful blisters and ulcers within a period of 2 weeks, as you can see here on the shaft of a penis of someone with primary infection with genital herpes. Genital herpes is highly contagious as long as the active lesion persists. For this condition, there is no known cure. In addition to a burning sensation, itching, and extreme tenderness, the patients often complain of discomfort when urinating and during sexual intercourse. The condition is often accompanied by fever, muscular pains, and headaches. Physicians treating patients with genital herpes find the emotional upset suffered is perhaps more than the physical discomfort caused by the infection. According to the United States Department of Health and Human Studies, which maintain very, very reliable statistics, maybe as many as 20 million individuals have genital herpes, and about 300,000 cases are expected annually. And each year, between 20,000 and 50,000 new cases of genital herpes are reported in Canada, where very reliable statistics are kept. In 1982, there were over 6,000 cases of herpes virus infections reported alone in Canada. More than 40% of these infections were sexually transmitted and largely involved young adults between the ages of 15 and 19 years. And for many other countries, not only the United States and Canada, it's simply because I have these statistics available and I can depend and rely on them, but the statistics are the same, and the prevalence of genital herpes infection makes the disease a virtual epidemic. Among sexually transmitted diseases, it is second only to gonorrhea. The highest incidence of genital herpes occurs among prostitutes, sexually promiscuous young adults, and sexual partners who previously have had herpes infection. In general, this age group is at the highest risk of acquiring sexually transmitted diseases. Now another area, please. Within the last could we have the next slide, please? Within the last 3 years, there has been an increasing number of reports on acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which you all know as AIDS, a disease of emerging epidemic proportion. It is attracting an extraordinary amount of attention. Some of you may know that it was featured in the August issue of Time magazine. Interest and concern on account of its unknown etiology and poor prognosis. There is no known cure for this illness too, which makes previously healthy adults become immunodeficient, and in most cases the victims will die. It is particularly prevalent among male homosexuals. but epidemiological trends indicate that it is slowly increasing among heterosexuals and will gradually spread to the general population. In fact, this has been predicted by just about every agency studying AIDS, that this will gradually permeate into the general population. And here again, there are reliable statistics which I will not go into because of the time, but let me just say that homosexual and heterosexual male who were promiscuous and account for the majority, about 78% of the victims. As far as women are concerned, only 7% were affected. Other groups, as you know, include intravenous drug users, hemophiliacs, and people who were born in Haiti, and there are good reasons for this, which can be explained. And more than 90% of the victims with AIDS are between 20 and 49 years of age. I will not go, time will not permit us to discuss anything about the virus and its diagnosis, but I would like to say that AIDS has been featured in Times Magazine. It is now considered to be the most with all its frightening implications might gradually spread to the general population. In Europe, too, a campaign has been launched against AIDS by the World Health Organization. Sexual promiscuity may also lead to cervical dysplasia, and with the possibility of progression to malignancy, notwithstanding the many serological and epidemiological studies which have demonstrated an association between infective agents and cervical cancer, the exact biological cause of this malignancy is not known. It is now widely accepted that these malignant changes in the uterine cervix are related to the age of the women, frequency of intercourse, and the number of partners. Several epidemiological studies have clearly indicated a significant correlation between exposure to multiple sexual partners and a higher incidence of cervical carcinoma. The consequences and dangers of promiscuous sexual relationships and deviant sexual practices have been expressed in this hadith some 1400 years ago. Could I have the next slide, please? I hope it is correct. The lewdness will not exist among people until they appear as a common practice and plague